So a buddy of mine asked me to build him a plyometric box. If you don't know what that is, it's a box that's 20 by 24 by 30. It's used for doing box jumps or step ups or that kind of stuff when you're working out. Now I've been thinking about getting a track saw for a while. I've looked at Festool and Makita and DeWalt and was really shocked by the price that they charge for those. So not too long ago I came across a track saw that Win makes. I looked into it, checked the reviews, and people seem to really like it. However, most people seem to really hate the Win Track, but they really like the Powertec Track. So that's what I ended up with. I got the Win Track saw and the Powertec Track. I'm going to unbox them both today, put them together, and see how they do cutting this piece of plywood. So I'm going to get this camera turned around. I'll start pulling stuff out of the boxes and checking it out, so stick around. So I'm going to start with the track. We'll open this box up and see what we got. So this set is the Powertec guide rail that goes up to 55 inches in length. First thing right on top is an Allen key. I think you need this to connect the pieces together. I'm sure most people that buy this will have an Allen key to do this, but it's nice that they include it. Alright, at first glance it looks pretty nice. They have a piece of cardboard separating the two pieces of track, which is nice, keep them from rubbing up against each other. Has the Powertec name on here. It's just a sticker that's applied. Has some nice slick strips on here, and of course on the back has some non-stick foam. The only thing in the box are the two tracks and the Allen key. One of the tracks does have these steel bars pre-installed. These are the bars you use to attach the two pieces of track together if you need it to be longer. I did notice each track has a hole in one side. I'm assuming this is to hang it on the wall if you want to store it that way. So this all looks good. I'm going to go ahead and set the track aside and open up the box with the saw in it and see how that looks. All right, here's the saw. It's the Win model CT1272. This is the model that takes the 7 1/4 inch blade as opposed to the other one that takes a 6 1/2 inch blade. So the smaller saw has a 10 amp motor. This one's a 12 amp motor, and this one also gives you a variable speed trigger and of course more cutting depth capacity. And for all that, you're going to pay about 50 bucks more. The 6 1/2 inch saw from Win is about $100, and this one was about $150. All right, so let's check it out. So right on top is the owner's manual, and it comes with 2 extra brushes. Looks like that's it for the box. It's actually a little bigger than I was expecting. I don't know why. Okay, right off the bat, it feels pretty good. It's got some weight to it. It's got some size to it. It doesn't feel super cheap like a budget tool. Using it may be a whole nother story. I don't know. We'll find out. I've never used a track saw before, so this is all new to me. So it has some a built-in dust collection port. I'll see how well that works. It has an Allen wrench here that is captured on the power cord. I'm assuming this is to change the blade. And that's one thing I will be doing. A lot of people like this saw, but a common complaint was the blade that it comes with is total crap. I have a new CMT blade over here that I'm going to be putting on this. I'm not even going to mess with the stock blade. I'm just going to take it off and change it right away. All right, if you turn around to this side, you can see there's some knobs here. This will allow you to lock it into the track or not lock it into a track. You can adjust how it rides in the track. There's 2 knobs here. If you loosen those up, it allows the saw to bevel. It can bevel up to 45 degrees. It has a depth stop that's adjustable on this scale right here. It also has some predetermined stop points built into the saw. And then to plunge the saw, you have to push this button up here on top of the handle and then pull the trigger. Unless you do that, the saw will not plunge. You see it's plunging now, but if you don't pull that trigger, it won't go anywhere. Also right down here at the bottom of the handle is the variable speed dial. If you turn around here, there's a little plunger. This is to lock the blade in to change the blade. All right, I know I said I was going to change the blade right away, but I was looking at the blade. It's a 48 tooth carbide tipped blade. It looks okay to me, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and see how it performs. All right, I got the centipede all set up. I just took an 8-foot 2x4, cut it in half, and this should give me plenty of support. So I'll get the piece of plywood up here and try out that track saw. On one edge of the track, there's this rubber strip right here. When this is new, this is quite a bit longer. You have to cut it down to match your saw. There's a procedure for doing that. I'm not going to go over that right now. If you happen to get this particular saw on page 16 of the user manual, it describes how to do that. It's really simple. Just go through the steps, cut these down, and they'll be ready to use. So I have the saw set in full plunge mode. I have the depth stop set to 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and make this cut, see how it goes. All right, I made that first cut, and there's a couple things I want to point out. First of all, you see all this sawdust that is on top? That was all shooting out that back dust chute. So if I had dust collection hooked up to this, all of this would have been in the dust collector. So I need to work something out and get the dust collection hooked up to that saw. Second is I want to point out how clean this cut is. That's the top edge there. And I'll flip this over real quick. And there you go, that's the bottom edge of the cut. So I know it's just a few cuts, but I don't have any complaints about that blade that came with the saw so far. It seems to be doing fine. You probably noticed on that first cut, I had a little trouble getting the saw started. That was definitely user error. There's a little anti-kickback device down here that wasn't engaged on the track. So I was kind of fighting with it to get that into the groove. So I've corrected that on this cut, so it should go a lot smoother. So my impressions of all this. I'll start with the centipede. I really like it. It has a lot of strength pushing down. It's a little wobbly going back and forth. That said, it didn't move at all as I was pushing the saw across it. So for what I'm going to be using for, I think it's going to work really nice. I like that it's lightweight, it's compact, it folds up really small. For a small shop, that's perfect. I can put it away in a corner, pull it out when I need it. I do wish I got the bigger size. This limits me to 2 foot by 4 foot. If I had the larger size, I could go to a full 4x8 if I wanted to, and I could always shrink it down if I needed to. If I had it to do over again, I would buy the bigger size. That's the only thing I would do different with the centipede. I would definitely buy it again. I really like it. The track. What can I say? It's aluminum track. It worked great. It held the saw in place like it's supposed to. The saw slid across it like it's supposed to. It has this grippy stuff on back. I put the saw on it and I moved it around and it didn't move at all. I even pushed the saw laterally trying to move it and this stuff held firm. It didn't shift at all. That said, I did go ahead and use the dovetail clamps on the ends. Since this was my first time using the saw, it gave me a little bit extra peace of mind. I'll probably continue to use these, but like I said, this foam stuff on the back, it kept the track in place. Now the saw. For me, the saw performed great. It had plenty of power, it's smooth. It has that soft start, which at first I thought that's a little goofy, but then if you consider this is supposed to be kind of a precision tool, it's supposed to make nice, straight, precise cuts, almost like a table saw. The soft start makes sense, right? You don't want to just hit it and have it fire up and jump on you. The depth stop worked great. There is one feature I wanted to show you that I didn't mention. It has this little metal tab that pops out right here with a quarter turn of this knob, and that hooks the front end of the saw into the track. As you're sawing like this, it's not going to come up on you. So I did use that, and it kept the saw in place. The anti-kickback device works great. You're pushing forward, you cannot go backwards when that's engaged. This whole blade guard assembly is all aluminum, and that's where your stops are. The stop itself is plastic, but all of this is aluminum. The base is aluminum. It's a nice big base. It fits the track perfectly. The motor housing and handle and all that, that's all plastic. I don't like the trigger a whole lot. It's a little cumbersome. It gets a little sticky if you don't push it just right. Sometimes it goes in perfect. In general, I don't like triggers like this on tools. They're uncomfortable for me to use, but it is what it is. Another thing I wanted to show you that I didn't talk about is this switch right here. If you flip this switch all the way up, it plunges and it locks in place. And that's to change the blade. You unlock it by pulling the trigger. The middle position will plunge all the way down, either all the way down or until it hits the stop. And then this last position all the way down here is for a scribe cut. It'll cut 1/10 of an inch deep just to scribe the surface of your material. That can make a cleaner cut if you're using like a real delicate veneer or something like that. So those are the three settings there. So what was the price for all this stuff? Well, the centipede was $80. The saw and the track together, I have it written down, was $282. That was the saw and the track and these two clamps. That was off of Amazon. To get this same setup in Makita would be $560, so about twice the price. Craig has a similar setup. They're about $500. Festool for the saw and two pieces of track like this is about $700 to $800, depending on where you buy it. Quite a bit more, 3 times the price. Is Craig 3 times better? Is Makita twice as good as this? For my money, I say no. I've never used those tools. You know, I put that out there right now. In my little garage shop here, where I'm mostly just gonna be breaking down plywood with this, for $280, I think this was a great investment. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative and useful. If there's something I missed about any of this, something else you want to know, ask the question down below in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing, post a comment down below, and share this video with your friends. All those things really help the channel out and I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you for the next one.